Hey there, eighth graders. We are coming up with our last couple things to do with our child soldiers essays. Our argumentative skills are getting so much better, and you guys have done a really nice job getting started on your flash draft. So be proud of what you've done so far. You have learned how to write an argumentative piece, and then you applied it to a new topic, and that is awesome. A lot of you yesterday, when I said do your flash draft, you had this like fear on your face and I think you surprised yourselves. You guys got paragraphs upon paragraphs done, and you just need to trust yourself that you have the skills, and you guys have done great. So, you're learning how to think deeper. You're learning how to form an opinion. You are learning how to show your opinion on different sides. You're drafting. You are thinking deeper about things that are going to affect you as you get older. And so definitely be proud of where you're at. Okay. I think as eighth graders, our writing skills have grown, our thinking skills have grown. So a little bit of celebration for us here. So today, we are going to keep working on our essays. As I told you, we are not going to spend as much time teaching the writing piece of the child soldiers essays. We're going to strengthen it. You guys have the skills. Our goal is to strengthen those skills. So we are going to strengthen our arguments, and we are only going to include the strongest possible evidence. And we want to make sure that the evidence that we choose is relevant, significant, and convincing. We want to make sure that it explains how it connects to the claim. That explanation is super duper important, and that our evidence it connects and it's the best choice. We just want to make sure that every piece that we include is strong. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a little like a draft paragraph. And so here's one. This is a paragraph that pushes for the argument that child soldiers should not get amnesty, that they should be considered victims. So here's what's written. It says, one of the strongest reasons some child soldiers shouldn't get amnesty is that they can be a threat to national security. The reason that Omar Kadir did not get amnesty, for instance, is that he was full of pride for his actions and full of hatred toward the United States. For example, former interrogators and Dr. Wellner testified that when Kadir was angry at his guards, he would recall how he had killed a U.S. soldier. The implication, of course, was that Kadir was, in the words of one interrogator, cold and callous. So the evidence that I have is good, and I'm trying to argue that child soldiers are a threat to national security, but is it the best? Could I include more? Now, you guys went through, you did a ton of research, you have a ton of sources. Could I find something more convincing, more significant, more relevant? So, we have that T chart that you guys looked at where you had the victim side, the perpetrator side. And so maybe there's a little bit better support there. So let's take a look. And what I want you to do is we're going to take a look at which ones are the strongest, which ones are the weakest. So this is the one we already read. This one here says Kadir bragged about killing a U.S. soldier, and he claimed that the day he planted landmines to kill U.S. and coalition forces was the happiest day of his life. Kadir had been marinating in the radical jihad views for elder statesmen of terrorist groups while in Guantanamo. And then the number one reason that Kadir was dangerous, his father, a senior ranking Al Qaeda leader, was now dead. Kadir's father took him to visit Al Qaeda leaders when he was 10 and to a military training camp when he was 15. So there's four pieces of evidence that we can kind of rank. And to me, if we're trying to argue that they could be a threat to national security, but that they also necessarily like they enjoy it, part of me says we go with the bragged. And especially if we are saying he was full of pride in his actions, the bragging shows that pride. This one down here doesn't necessarily give us as much about national security. It just kind of gives us more background. Same thing here. It just, again, gives us background in how long those ideas have been marinating or building in his mind. Okay. So then what I'm going to do in my essay as I'm revising, because as we told you guys with your simulated violence essays, sometimes when you revise, you get your checklist and you call it a day. You just check, check, check. No, I want you to critically think, look at your paragraphs and think, okay, what can I do to make this better? This is a skill that you need as you get older. What can I do to make this better? What can I do to make this stronger? So, what you're going to do as you're going through and you think, there's probably better evidence, take that evidence out, okay? And we're going to add, so we took that out and we'll say specifically he had bragged about killing a United States soldier, and he claimed the day that he planted the landmines to kill the US and coalition forces was the happiest day of his life. And then then the explanation is really going to strengthen it. Again, we're going to talk about the threat to national security. Okay. If so, there's my evidence that I chose, super strong piece of evidence. And then I'm going to add my explanation. And remember, your explanation needs to be so strong, so convincing. You want to tug at the heartstrings of your reader. You want them to understand what you are trying to say. So if Omar was set free, then he clearly might repeat his actions of planting mines or killing soldiers or seek others to join who wanted to commit these kinds of acts. So I feel like it's super critical that when you choose your evidence, if you're trying to say he's a threat to national security, don't just say this shows he was a threat to national security because. No, you want to take your evidence, your best evidence, and figure out a way to prove that that is a problem, okay? That this trait is an issue. So the fact that he bragged shows that he might be willing to repeat his actions and continue to threaten our country. Okay. What happened to Omar shows that some young soldiers are too hardened and too much of a threat to be given amnesty. Okay. So then you kind of wrap it up again with this statement, kind of finishes up your paragraph. Okay. So here's what we just did. We weighed and ranked the evidence and we decided what we really needed, and so, which evidence was super duper strong and which helped us create the best argument? Okay. So, we chose a new piece of evidence, and then that explanation, that connection in the future, I think is what's really going to make it strong. And then at the end, in that little, I don't know what color to call that, but we tied everything back to the main argument. And that's what I call the bottom bun. You always have to have that thing on the bottom to kind of bring it back to your claim. Okay. So, your goal for the rest of the day, first of all, come in on Thursday with your essay done, 6 paragraphs, everything looks great. Then, when you're done, what you're going to do is focus on at least one of the following things in your writing. First of all, you can search for better evidence, or you can place your evidence and or reasoning in a different order so you can kind of switch around and make it more effective. Okay. Or you can frame your evidence in a way that's going to help your reader better understand your thinking. So again, that kind of comes with your explanation. It's going to make it deeper, make a connection with your reader so they know what you're saying and what you're talking about. Okay. Other things to make sure that you have super strong word choice. Make sure that you're citing your sources as you are writing, and make sure that you are asking questions. Make sure that we are checking how you're doing. Use your resources. You have tons of videos, outlines, tons of texts that you can take a look at. So, but as always, we are here, and don't forget to check in with us. Thanks. Bye.